Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
Bermudians head to the polls to elect a new government, and in sport, the Windies women captain takes a slide in the ICC rankings. I'm Dawn Paris, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Tuesday, July 18th. Voters go to the polls in Bermuda today to choose the next government. The 36 polling stations opened at 8 o'clock this morning. A recent opinion poll gave the One Bermuda Alliance, the OBA, a commanding lead over the main opposition Progressive Labour Party, the PLP. However, many political pundits agree that the outcome of the vote will hinge on a handful of marginal seats. The OBA squeezed home by just 2 seats in the last election in December 2012, but later lost that advantage and became a minority government after former cabinet ministers Mark Pettingill and Sean Crockwell resigned to sit in the 36-seat House of Assembly as independents. 46,669 voters are registered to cast their ballots today. The two main parties are running a full slate of 36 candidates. There are 5 independents, including a former PLP premier and an ex-OBA chairman. Polling stations are expected to close at 8 tonight. Regional carrier Liat has announced the cancellation of several flights to the southern Caribbean as the airline continues to monitor Tropical Storm Dawn. The Antigua-based carrier has cancelled flights to and from Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad, Guyana, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia and Guyana. However, Flight 309 from Antigua to St. Lucia will operate as scheduled. According to Liat, flights to the northern islands in the Eastern Caribbean chain will not be affected. The airline says passengers who've been affected will be allowed to book within the next 2 weeks with all change fees waived. Meanwhile, in its latest advisory issued at 11 a.m., the National Hurricane Center says maximum sustained winds in the center of Tropical Storm Dawn have decreased to near 40 miles per hour. But a tropical storm warning remains in effect for Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, while a tropical storm watch remains in effect for Barbados and Bonaire. The government of St. Lucia has discontinued the tropical storm watch for that island. The National Hurricane Center says the center of the storm was located near latitude 11.5 north, longitude 58.0 west. Dawn is moving toward the west near 20 miles per hour, and this general motion is expected through tomorrow. On the forecast track, the center of Dawn will move across the Windward Islands this afternoon or tonight, and then move westward across the southern Caribbean Sea on Wednesday. Tropical Storm Dawn is expected to produce total rain accumulations of 3 to 6 inches with isolated higher amounts across Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and the southern Windward Islands through tomorrow. These rains could produce life-threatening flash floods and mudslides, especially in mountainous areas. Interests in Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba and Curacao have been advised to monitor the progress of the storm. Over in Guyana, Chief Justice Roxanne George Wilshire yesterday ruled against President David Granger's interpretation of Guyana's constitution for the appointment of a chairman of the Elections Commission. She said there is no preference for judicial persons. Businessman Marcel Gaskin had moved to the court for the interpretation of the Constitution under Article 161 after the first list, consisting of a total of 6 persons, was rejected by President Granger. In response to Gaskin's submission, which questioned whether the list of persons for appointment must include a judge, for a former judge or a person qualified as a judge, the Chief Justice disagreed that the list must include a judge. The Chief Justice was also asked to comment on whether the President is required to state the reason for deeming the 6 names submitted as unacceptable. To that, she said he should state why the persons were rejected. She also noted that the President was not obliged to select a person from the 6 names submitted. The interpretation also noted that 1 or more unacceptable persons on the list does not render the entire list as unacceptable. The respondents in the case were Attorney General Basil Williams and Opposition Leader Barrett Jagdeo. Both the Attorney General and Jagdeo's attorney, Anil Nandlal, were absent for the interpretation by the Chief Justice. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Adopting a bunny is a big responsibility. Rabbits need special food and care.
People come in and wanting to buy a bunny for their child. That's not the reason to buy a bunny. It's got to be a family commitment, something that's well thought out by the whole family, and then the parents really have to be the sole caretaker. I mean, the children can help too, but they shouldn't depend on the children to take care of the bunny, and a lot of times that's the case.
This month on Caribbean Passport, the region celebrates culture and heritage in colorful, festive displays. Antigua and Barbuda's 60th Carnival, Tobago's Heritage Festival, and we fly to Barbados for Crop Over. All this and more on this station.
Continuing with sports, West Indies women's captain Stephanie Taylor is no longer the world's top female all-rounder, and her performances during the Caribbean side's wretched outing in the World Cup are to blame for her losing her lofty position in the ICC rankings. The right-hander batsman managed a mere 179 runs in her 7 outings at an average of 25, picking up 5 wickets with her off-spin at an average of 38. Australian Elise Perry has taken over the #1 spot after scoring 366 runs and taking 9 wickets during the just concluded preliminary phase of the World Cup. Taylor also slumped in the batting rankings, sliding 4 places to 9th, but she was the only West Indies player in the top 10 as Deandra Dottin slipped from 8th to 14th position. Teenaged opener Hayley Matthews at 32nd, Marissa Aguilera at 36, and left-hander Cassian Knight at 46 were the 3 other West Indies players in the top 50. Australian Meg Lanning remains top of the batting pile. And in the bowling rankings, Taylor dropped 1 place to 3rd, with frontline off-spinner Anisa Mohammed sliding 3 places to 10th. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again this evening at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.